Hello, this is a demonstration on how to use the Ontrack Staff Hub to enrol learners. The Staff Hub is used by teaching staff to mark their registers, but adaptations have been made to assist frontline staff in enrolling learners. There are limitations to the adaptations. You can search for learners, you can enroll them on courses, but you cannot record their payments. Fees have to be recorded in the EBS Central. Your priority is to encourage learners to enrol online. And secondly, where possible, provide some assisted support. So that means sitting down with the learner and helping them navigate through the online enrolment screens. Alternatively, you can signpost them to the Idea Store website. On the How to Enrol page, there's a video, 15 minutes long, and that is a demonstration of how to enrol online. And also, if they start asking a lot of questions or they're encountering problems, technical problems, or they need information, you can then advise them to have a look on the frequently asked questions page on the website. The questions are separated into two categories: online enrolment problem solving and course related information. But if you're one of those individuals that are approached by a learner who has no ICT skills whatsoever, or you're taking a telephone enrolment, or you're processing ESOL paper enrolments, then you will have to use the Ontrack Staff Hub. The Staff Hub was adapted as an alternative to the EBS Central. And this is EBS Central, which you should be familiar with. The issue here is that staff have to log in to the cloud, and then you have to log in a second time to get into EBS Central. With the Staff Hub, it's a web-based module and you only have to log in the once. So you log in with your username and your password that is supplied, and when you enter the application, you will land on the home page. So this is what your home page will look like. You have current year and active records button at the top. The fact that they're on is shown by the underlining in red. If that is grey, that means they're off. So you just need to click on them to switch them on. In the right-hand corner, you have a drop-down button, and that is where you'll find the logout option. Over on the left, you've got your menus, and across the middle of the page, you've got the search engine. And the search engine is for searching for general learner, course, and register information. But for enrolments, you need to use the learner enrolment search. That's compulsory for doing an enrolment. So when you click on this link, it will open the learner search screen. Search for your learner in the normal way. Use the name along with the date of birth or the postcode. I'm looking for a learner called Ziggy. As you can see, my result has given me 4 records. You can differentiate by the different date of births. You've got the learner's enrolment ID number before their name. But in addition to that, if you click on the show and hide arrows for each learner, that will then expand the boxes and you can further compare by their addresses. Okay, so in this example, the learner that I'm trying to enroll is not one of these Ziggy Stardusts. It's a new person, so I'm going to have to add them to the system. So if you click on Add Learner, this will then display the Create Learner screen. So you'll need to fill in all the records, or sorry, all the fields on this screen. What you need to be aware of here is screen is the screen that will create the learner's record on the system. So therefore, it's creating the learner ID. This is not the same as the learner's online enrolment account. The learner has to create their account themselves in the online enrolment application. This is about creating a learner ID on the system. So if you click on Save, that will save this learner's details and create an enrolment ID. You're then taken back to the learner search, where you now need to search for that new learner that you've just added to the system. And as you can see, that's my new learner there that I've just added. So I now want to enroll them onto a course. You click on the Enrol button and that takes you to the course search. You can search in the normal way. You can put in part of your course title in the description field, the code if you know it. You can use the location and day as extra filters. I'm searching for any A-term courses. Okay, so information displayed across the screen is the course code attached to its title, the start and the end date of the course, the fees for the course, the day and the location that the course is running. If a course appears full and you have the enrolment button here, you're not going to be able to add somebody to the enrolment to the waiting list. If you click on that button, you'll get an error message. You can't process waiting lists in this application. If you want to add somebody to a waiting list, then you have to process that in EBS Central. The progress date is an amendable field. So if you are enrolling ESOL learners or functional skill and you're doing it via the paperwork, in most cases, that paperwork comes through after the start date of the course. So you need to ensure that the progress date is backdated to the start date of the course. By default, the progress date is always the day that you've logged into the application and that you're enrolling somebody. So if you're doing an ESOL enrolment, it will be the day that you're adding the paperwork onto the system. So you need to change this field back to the start date of the course to ensure that the register dates are correct. If you forget to update this field and leave it to the default, on the register, it will look like the learner has missed the first week or 2 or 3 weeks of their course. Okay, at the bottom of the screen, you will have the backwards and forwards buttons and the number of courses that are on display. So once you've decided what course the learner is enrolling on, click on the Enrol button. That will then open the enrolment form waivers screen. Please note you can only select one course at a time. You can't select multiple courses. And the reason for that is for each course that you select, you need to attach a waiver. In this example, we're going to use universal credit. This is going to be a concessionary learner. So you've selected the waiver. If this was a full fee payer, you would select not entitled to a concession fee waiver. So it's compulsory that you must select something in this box because this is what determines how much the learner is going to pay. This is the screen that is calculating whether it's the concession fee or the tuition fee. So you must select either a concession or that they're not entitled. This is universal credit, and at the bottom of the screen here under the statement, we're going to tick the box to say that you've seen the evidence. You now want to add another course, so you go back, add another course. You're back at the course search. Find your additional course. Select Enrol again. And again, attach the waiver so that the price, the right price, is displayed at the end, universal credit, and we're seeing the evidence. And then you move forward with continue. You're then taken to the enrolment form to complete the details, the personal details, further details, and the data protection. The personal details will be filled in by default from when you created the learner. Each field on the page has an asterisk or a little star at the beginning, and that is telling you that the field is compulsory and must be filled in. So you fill in all the fields on the postcode. The postcode, click find, and then across here, select the right address. When you select the address, it will populate all the remaining fields. So to move forward, to save and move forward, click on continue. That will then move you forward to the further details page. Same again, fill in all the sections. And if you miss a field, when you get to the bottom, it won't allow you to go any further, but you will see the field that's not been filled in. It will be highlighted in red. So you go back to that field and fill in the details. Have you lived in the UK, EU for 3 years? If they say no, then you need to put in the date of UK entry. And if it's necessary, you click on the overseas box. By clicking on the overseas box, that is where the overseas fee will be calculated. In this case, we're saying, yes, they have, and moving forward. Fill in the household situation. And then come down to the support needs. You can ask the learner if they have an Idea Store friend and carer membership, and check whether they have a learning difficulty or disability. And this shouldn't be left blank. It should be yes or no. If it's yes, select it. You will then get the option to indicate what the difficulty or health problem is. So it will add a row and you need to click on add. And then from the drop down, select the difficulty. In this case, we're selecting dyslexia, and you must tick it as the main need. Then moving down to employment status, we've said this person is on universal credit, so they are unemployed and looking for work and available to start work. So you need to indicate how long they've been unemployed and what type of benefit. We've said this individual is on universal credit, but if this was a full fee payer, then you would select not in receipt of any benefit. So again, something must be put in here, but this is a universal credit learner. You come down to the qualifications and to the marketing and continue to save and move through to the next screen. Data protection. There are 2 consents. The first is communication and the second is optional marketing. With the communication, we want that to be compulsory. So tick the box there and indicate how the learner can be contacted. This is important because we'll need to be able to contact them if their class is going to be suspended or closed. Obviously, we need to send them information about completing the learner survey. If this is not ticked, if you want to contact them or if a tutor needs to contact them throughout the period, they won't be able to do that because this box is not ticked. So that is why it is important to do this. This part, the marketing, is optional, so you can leave that blank. Save by clicking on continue. There. So you're now on the summary page. So you've got a list of the courses that you've selected to enroll the learner on, and you've got the final fees. And these fees have been calculated based on the waiver screen because you selected the universal credit waiver against each one. Or if it was going to be an overseas student, then it would be the right calculated fee because you ticked the overseas student box. So you're now at the end of the process and you click on the finish button. Okay, so that then takes you to the learner enrolment screen. So you're at the end of the process. So you go back to my home page. Now on this same page, when you get to the end of the process and you're here, this update button isn't really going to do anything for you. So you can ignore that. But if you go back to the home page, and let's say if you are at the Shadwell Centre or you're in an idea store and you have a learner that has successfully done an online enrolment and they were not able to upload their evidence. Let's say they're a concession learner, they enrolled themselves as a concessionary fee payer, but they were unable to upload their evidence, then you can they can bring their evidence to you and show it to you, and then you can log into Ontrack, go to the learner search as I just have, call up the learner's record, go into their learner enrolment there, and then click on the update button. And basically all you have to do is tick that box to indicate that you have seen the learner's evidence. That will appear because the learner has selected that themselves in the online enrolment. So the only thing you're doing here is confirming that they weren't able to upload their evidence because the equipment wasn't available, but you've seen their evidence. So you come back into their learner enrolments and you tick that box. And the same with the ESOL learners as well. Once you're processing ESOL payments, you can come into this screen here, the learner enrolment, just go into update and tick that box. In addition to that information, you might find that you need to print out a course outline. So again, if you go back to the home page, and click on the course search, and in the course code, add the code and search. Select the course for this year by clicking on the code. In the course details screen, cursor down to reports, and under timetable you'll find course outline. So if you click on the outline, it will open a PDF version for you. So you can either directly print that or you can save it as a different format, Word, PDF, as I said, and then you can save it and maybe email it or output it, whichever way, whatever you need to do. This is where you would access a course outline to be able to print and hand over to a learner. And to close this screen, you would just close it at the top here. Okay. Another thing to consider is the learning agreement. Throughout this process, when you get to the end of the process, learners that have an email address will get an automatic confirmation, but attached to their email confirmation will be a PDF version of their of their learning agreement. For those learners that don't have an email address, and if you're having to print it out for them whilst they're there on the site, then in the summary page of the enrolment, and in the enrolment screen, the learner enrolment, on this menu here, in future, there will be a link that says print learning agreement, and that will appear there for you. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. If anybody needs any further support, then they can contact the MIS team, and we will do our best to support you. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.